Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is your host, Jacob, or better yet, short JD. Today we are going to be talking about the 2024 Sony Open, and we're going to preview the course and talk about DFS and look at the research and picks for the week. So to start off with, let's go and look at the course. Today we are looking at the Waialae Country Club for the Sony Open. It is a par 70 that measures just over 7,000 yards, so a pretty short track. With that being said, the field is capped at 144, so this will be a larger field event than last week's Tournament of Champions at the Century. The course itself is pretty tight, positional track, some dog legs. It'll be There'll be an emphasis for accuracy. However, the fairways are decently wide here, so that'll be interesting as well when we look at who we're targeting. The rough is 3 inches, so we do not want to be in the rough this week. And with the Bermuda, we could catch, a lie that could scream over the green or not even get to the green. So it's important to be in the fairway here for the Sony Open, and the greens are pretty large. So with that, going for the green, hopefully get it on the putting surface, but the greens will be firm, so it'll be interesting to see how players can navigate themselves around the course if they're out of position. From that, let's go into our past winners of the event. Last year was Siwoo Kim. Before that, Hideki Matsuyama, Kevin Na, Cameron Smith, and so on and so forth. And if we look at this list, you'll see that there is many positional type hitters, but also those who can ball strike really well. Siwoo is has really improved his ball striking to be more consistent. Hideki is a great ball striker. Kevin Na, can hit him close. Cam Smith, we know what he can do with the wedge and putt. Matt Kuchar, putt, driving accuracy, all these guys have a similar skill set. And so we'll be looking at, driving accuracy, strokes gain approach, putting, all those different metrics this week will be important. So without further ado, let's take a look at who we got on DraftKings this week. At the top of the board, we have Ludwig Eberg, who is 10-5. He's coming off his first Century Tournament of Champions event and did pretty decent. He struggled to start the event the first 2 rounds, however, had picked it up in his previous 2 rounds. He picked up his last round shooting a 63, a 10 under. He's been playing lights out. He won his previous start. He won earlier in August of the previous year in Europe. And honestly, at 10-5, considering the course, I'm not sure how many people are going to play him this week. He's someone who I've grown to click more often than I thought I would need, but he just keeps proving week in and week out that he's going to be near the top of the leaderboard, and he's immaculate with the driver. It is also accurate as well, not just long. He is accurate as well with that club, and it'll be interesting to see what happens on this tight positional golf course with him. But he is one of my favorites for this week. And if we look at the other people in the 10K range, we got Tyrrell Hatton, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Sahith Theegala. Hatton had a nice run this past weekend, but ultimately came up short and couldn't get it done on the weekend. He's playing great as well. If we go to Matt Fitzpatrick, top finish last week at the Century, T14, and he's been hot as well. If we go to Theegala, he had a really good first round at the Century, I believe, and last round. Ended up finishing second. So all these people are in play this week. I think in terms of skill set for the course, I would probably lean Fitzpatrick However, he can get really inaccurate with his driver. Same with Segala and Hatton. So with that, I would probably prefer Aberg. Um, and I think more people are gonna click Segala considering his recent form as well as Hatton and Fitzpatrick. I'm not sure if people are willing to pay up all the way for Aberg or they might just start in the 9K range. So it'll be interesting to see. But if I were to rank out of these four, I would go Aberg, Fitzpatrick, Hatton, and then Thigala. The next range, the 9K range, we are going to look at starts off with Brian Harmon at 99, Corey Connors at 98, Eric Cole 97, Russell Henley 96, Chris Kirk 95, Will Zalatoris 93, JT Poston 91, and Hideki at 9K flat. Of this group, Chris Kirk is the winner from the previous week at the Century. It's interesting how he didn't practice much with his right-handed clubs and was practicing left-handed and all of a sudden came out and won this past week. So I think he'll garner some ownership, but he's playing well too, and 9,500 is still a good price for him in this field. I think Harmon is probably going to go under-owned at this price, as well as Corey Connors. I don't necessarily have... If I were to choose of the two, I would definitely prefer Harmon. Connors, not that he hasn't been playing awful, but I don't see the upside in him at this price. And he struggles with a putter, and he doesn't make enough putts, I don't think, at this price. When there's better scorers around him, like Eric Cole is a better scorer, I would consider Harmon better than him for scoring. Kirk, Zalatoris is interesting at 9-3. I don't think a lot of people are going to play him, but he is recovering from surgery. He did play the Hero and struggled for 2 rounds. But he's going to be low owned, so I don't mind, throwing, a nugget on him. Or just a little splash or something. But he will probably be virtually unowned in DFS this week because he's returning from injury and his poor 2 rounds at the Hero. And then the last two of the 9K range, we got JT Poston and Hideki. I like both of these prices for these players. Hideki's a former winner here. I would say Poston has a little bit more upside, considering his putting ability and his ability to get hot with the irons. However, Matsuyama is the better player, so I think Matsuyama might go under-owned here at this spot. And then I guess I forgot to talk about Eric Cole and Russell Henley. Russell's a former winner here. Eric is the reigning PGA Tour Rookie of the Year. I would prefer Eric Cole to Russell Henley in 1v1 of these two, just because I think Cole scores better than Henley. But either are fine plays this week. If we can move down to the 8K range, we have Ben On at 87, Siwoo Kim at 86, Cam Davis 85, Denny McCarthy 84, Harris English 83, Justin Rooks 82, Steven Yeager 81, and Keegan Bradley and Adam Hadwin at 8K. Ben On, I think, has a very interesting price this week. Ben On, he is coming off a finish at the Century where he finished 4th, had 27 birdies, only 5 bogeys to his name, playing really solid golf. This course doesn't necessarily fit him. However, with Waialae having the 12th widest fairways, he could get himself around, I think. He's a good approach player. He's improved his putting. I believe he's gone to the broom. So I think as a GPP play, a tournament play, I like Ben on this week. Siwoo Kim at 86. I think he's gonna get ownership. With him being a former winner here, I don't necessarily love the price on him. Maybe if he was a little bit more, or sorry, a little bit less, I would prefer him. Cam Davis 85 is interesting. I don't think many people are gonna click his name. Whereas I think a lot of people are going to click Denny McCarthy at 84 and Harris English at 83. They're both short positional. Harris isn't as short as Denny, but they're both on the shorter end comparative to the field, but are more accurate and can get hot with their irons and are good putters. Same with Justin Rose. Steven Yeager could go under-owned here, I think. But I'm not targeting him this week. Keegan is, I think, a great play at 8K. I think he's underpriced, which might increase his ownership, but I'm not totally sure on that. However, Adam Hadwin I like a lot this week at 8K. I think he is underpriced as well. And he's coming off a good week at the Century, where he finished T14. In his previous event this year, he finished second at the Shriners. So out of this 8K group, I would say my favorites are Hadwin, Bradley. I like as tournament targets Ben on, Cam Davis, Cash probably, Denny, Harris. Justin Rose would probably be more of a tournament target with how much he can blow up sometimes. But I would say he's a tournament target for me as well. In the 7K range, now this is where it gets big. We're going to go 7-9 down to 7-5. We got Alex Noren, Brendan Todd, Akshay Bhatia, Matt Kuchar, Adam Svensson, Lucas Glover, Tom Hoagie, Luke List, JJ Spawn, Aaron Rye, Keith Mitchell, Andrew Putnam. Round it out. Of this group, nothing really sticks out as great. I mean, they're all, good options, but I think this mid 7K range is going to gather a ton of ownership. I would say my leans here for tournaments, I really like Luke List this week. This isn't a course that necessarily fits his style of play. He's more of a longer hitter. And this is more of a short positional track. However, he won the Sanderson Farms earlier in October and has been pretty much a top 20 machine. T18 at the Shriners, T20 Butterfield, T19 the RSM, T22 last week at the Century. He's had 20 birdies or more in 6 straight starts. So and over 100 points in fantasy on DK. I think he is one that I'm looking at this week that may go under-owned. The other person I like a lot from this range is Adam Svensson, 7,700. He's coming off a T5 at the RSM. Played, decently well last week. Couldn't make a ton of putts, but, made a good amount. And this is sort of a course where he excels on. I believe he won the RSM last year, which is a very similar type course to this. And I think everyone is just going to flock to Kuchar, Bhatia. Todd had a good week the previous week. Hoagie, he just doesn't make enough putts for me. If he was a little bit less, like 73, 72, I might take a look at him. JJ Spawn seems to be always more owned than he should be, but I don't mind him this week. Aaron Rye, I don't mind. Keith Mitchell will probably go under-owned at this price, but he's struggled towards the end of the year with his consistency. I don't necessarily think that this course will stop him from excelling, but I think he will go under-owned, which could be helpful for tournaments. Andrew Putnam probably will go over-owned, considering he's pretty short off the tee, but he's accurate and can make some putts, but he's not great on approach. He's good around the greens. If we look at the bottom of the 7K range, we got Ben Griffin, Justin Subb, Billy Horschel, Emiliano Grillo, Matt Wallace, Patrick Rogers, Kurt Kitayama, Adrian Dumont de Chassar, Taylor Pendrith, Vincent Norman, Nick Taylor, Eric Van Rooyen, Alexander Bjork, Taylor Montgomery, Alex Smalley, Gary Woodland, Rio Histatoon, Nick Hardy, Davis Thompson, Austin Eckroat, Mark Hubbard, Ben Coles, and Seong Hyung Kim. Got a lot of guys in this short 7K range. Of those that I just mentioned, people that are sticking out to me this week, Emiliano Grillo, 7,400. I think he could be more like 7.7 or 7.8 this week. Has struggled to start the year. T10 at the Zozo, T43 last week. He won last year. His putting has improved. He's always been a pretty good iron player. His around the green hasn't been great, but he's been pretty accurate too off the tee. So this is the type of golf course that would fit his style of play, I would think. And he's very volatile. He has been known to struggle with his putting, but his putting has improved in recent year. And with his struggles early on in the year, I'm not sure how many people are going to click his name. So I like Grillo at 74 this week. Another person I like is Nick Taylor. He's probably going to garner a bunch of ownership. Short positional hitter. Solid at the Shriners, Zozo. I would say he's more of a cash play this week instead of a tournament play. He had that incredible win in Canada and on his home soil last June, I believe, or July. So I like Taylor. I think Alexander Bjork, he is coming over from the Euro Tour. Before all these missed cuts, or not all these missed cuts, but his recent performance in the end of September, or in September and October, he had been a cut maker on the tour, making I don't know how many cuts in a row, and had a lot of top tens. I think he's going to get touted a lot this week by other DFS golf enthusiasts, just because he's coming over from the Euro Tour, him and Rio Histatoon. So it's their first time on I don't know if it's their first exact time, but they'll be competing on the tour this year, and for them this is their first event of the year. They might have more ownership than we are expecting, and I mean they're good players. They probably should be. Bjork should probably be around 8.2, 8.3. Histatoon should probably be around 7.9, 8. Considering how well they've played in the field this is. I would probably prefer Bjork over Histatoon in comparing them, but I'm probably not touching them this week just due to the fact that this is their first tournament on the tour of the season, and their ownership might be inflated. One person that's really sticking out to me is Alex Smalley. 7,100 primarily has been priced, mid 8Ks, low 8K, and is 7,100. I know none of his results to start the season has been fantastic, other than his T16 at the Sanderson. But he is a good player. I think he's just a better player than what this price is. Um, and I think he'll go underowned, especially in tournaments. Mark Hubbard is 7K. I think he will be extremely popular at that price. Austin Eckler, probably the same. But yeah, those are the guys I'm looking at in the bottom of the 7-4 range. Griot, Taylor, and Smalley is what I'm looking at. Now, if we go below the 7K range, Patton Gazar at 6,800 really sticks out to me. Former winner, and he's trying to regain his form. If we look at his past 12 rounds, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of his past 16 rounds have been sub 70. So that's really good. At 6,800, we're just looking for a cut maker, and Patton can provide that. He's played pretty well in the PGA Tour fall, missing only one cut. So I like Kazire as a value this week. Seamus Power at 69 is very underpriced. Former winner, or PGA Tour winner, not here. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why he is this low, considering we've seen him in the 9Ks. So I would more think that he would probably be at least 7.6. So he has a misprice. Robert McIntyre, misprice. Bobby Mack is coming over from the Euro Tour. He should probably be 8K at least, considering his performance this past season and the type of player he is. Grayson Saig, I don't mind at 67. Short positional golf course, fits the style. T8 at the RSM. Don't hate him as a dart throw. Ryan Moore, he's a shorter hitter, can get hot. Matthew Pavon coming over from the Euro Tour, probably should be more around 7K. Johnny Vegas, 66. Coming off a major medical extension, but he has played in Australia for some international events and did well, so he could be sneaky this week. Tyler Duncan, another guy who excels on short positional tracks, T3 at the RSM, so I like him as a dart throw this week. Dylan Wu and Brandon Wu at 66. I mean, they'll probably garner ownership, especially Dylan. Scott Stallings is 6,400. I mean, that's so cheap for him. Baddeley had been playing good beforehand. Joel Damon at 63. I know he hasn't been playing his best. You know, there is some people down here that people are going to stress. Kevin Streelman, Zach Blair is a shorter hitter. Snedeker, Lauer, Zach Johnson, Shez Reavie is 6,200. Are you kidding me? Holy jeez. I mean, I understand that he hasn't been playing well, but 6,200 on this golf course? Wow. Okay, this pricing is a little bit out of whack. Yeah, CT Pan, 61. I mean, he struggled. I mean, I understand that some of these golfers have struggled, but maybe maybe I'm missing something. But I mean, Lonto Griffin, 6,200. I don't hate that either. Uh, we'll have to look into the stats and see how these people have been playing. But yeah, there's some actually good plays this week that I like a lot. I think Aberg is going to be one of my higher owned plays. Personally, I like him a lot this week. Um, Hadwin I like this week a lot. Kazire I like as a value play. But yeah, I will be digging into this more today and tomorrow. And yeah, I'll be updating my player pools and such on Patreon. So yeah, I hope to see you over there. And good luck entering your PGA contests this week for the Sony Open. And I hope that you guys have a great rest of your week.